Today, I'm joined by someone who has built a powerful platform and an important voice in the world of neurodiversity. Sam Mitchell is the creator and host of Autism Rocks and Rolls, a successful podcast where he challenges stigma, break down misconceptions, and shows the world what life is like through the perspective as a young man living with autism. Sam's message is clear and deeply impactful. He isn't broken, he doesn't need to be fixed, and autism is not a limitation. It's a different way of experiencing the world. Through his podcast, Sam shares honest conversations, personal insights, and interviews with guests ranging from family members to celebrities, all with the goal of increasing understanding, acceptance, and respect of neurodiversity. Despite the challenges he has faced, Sam has turned his experiences into empowerment, education, and entertainment. He's a storyteller, an advocate, and a creator who's used his voice to help others feel seen and understood. Sam, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast, mate. Great to see you.
Thanks, man, for having me. Good to be here, buddy.
Thank you. So take us back to the beginning of your journey, obviously with autism. Where did it all start for you?
Started with me when I was probably about 2 years old when I got misdiagnosed with ADHD, but then at 4 years old, it was autism. Then at 6 years old, I didn't understand what was going on. I think my parents decided after to see that what I thought what I was doing was right, and it wasn't really, but I thought it was right. They would read me a book called Understanding Sam, and life made a little more sense after that. It was more my eureka moment. It was because of what I do different, is because of a medical condition. And then school was just hard for me. The staff was great, but the students sucked. I got bullied, dealt with exclusion, all the fun stereotypes you can imagine. I think life really changed for me after I was 16, because after I was 16, I've had enough of it. And out of anger, I decided to quit people pleasing to see how that worked. Still the best decision of my life to this day. I made friends. I found podcasting, I gained more confidence, and I felt better about myself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big transformation. What was the moment then that you thought, I want to change this, when you were only 16 then? What happened there?
It was just not an exact moment, just a build of moments after moments after moments. 15 years old, I mean, I start to realize my life is not coming to an end, clearly, but my childhood's coming to an end.
Yeah.
I didn't get to savor much of it because I dealt with the exclusion or being misunderstood or being liked because your mother's a teacher. I need to enjoy some of my childhood. Granted, it's
Yeah.
not really a childhood as you are in your teenagers, but I think being a teenager is still part of your childhood.
Yeah, of course. And what was the first change you decided to make?
I wasn't going to people please and I'm going to be who I am.
Yeah. How did you go about changing that? What did you do?
The way I did that was pretty much embrace the quirks, talk about what I wanted to do, ignored people who didn't understand what I was talking about. Really, if you think about it, I lived in my own world.
And when you found that you made the changes there, how did other people react to you when suddenly you're this different guy that comes along?
Boy, oh boy, let's put it this way. The arrow pointers who wanted me out of the school were mad, but I think for the better and the majority, it had a positive change because I could finally do stuff that I wouldn't be able to done before.
How did that make you feel when you started to do things that you weren't able to do before or you didn't feel confident doing?
Pretty good, man. Sure, I made some enemies along the way, but I'd rather have enemies than regrets.
Yeah. How can you make enemies though? So you're trying to make positive changes to life. How's that creating enemies? Do people not like the change in you?
No, they didn't like to change as much. They didn't like how I would tell you how it is, even more so. That's
Yeah.
one change that happened. It's just upped in my life times 10. I had it when I was a child, but
Yeah.
when I was 16, it went up a couple notches.
Yeah. And so with the changes there as well, did you find it started giving you a bit more confidence?
Yeah, it gave me a lot more confidence, and I felt like I could fit into a society finally that wasn't built for me.
Yeah. And
It
with
still
sort of
wasn't
like,
built for me.
I think a lot of people think like that, just everyday life, How do you manage everyday life now with the way of the world, especially if you have to manage it in a different way to the average person in the street that doesn't have autism?
I try to build as much structure and routine as I can
Yeah.
because this world can be unpredictable.
Yeah. What would your routine be now? What would it be?
Well, I get up every morning, I have a daily schedule, and I look at it. Most of my life right now is chores, podcasts, social,
Yeah.
and there's something else on there. Oh, the nonprofit side of what I do.
Yeah.
and
And
look
so,
at that, and I don't go to bed till the chart of the day is completed. I don't fill up the whole chart, I just try to get the day done.
yeah. How long have you had this routine for? How long's that been going on for?
That's been a long while. It's been a while because I think what happened was when I went to college, I got so overwhelmed that we tried a written version, but with my brain, that just didn't work. So we did a digital version, and that was so much more helpful. But I
Yeah,
think it's been going on since 2021.
since 2021. What
Actually, no,
did
I
you
take that
do?
back. I take it back. My bad.
23, a couple of years ago there as well. So when did you feel that you started to really embrace the autism and start dealing with it in like a positive way? So obviously it sounds like it started off at the age of 16. So when did you think I'm going to really change this? I'm going to try and use it to my advantage?
Well, the autism embracing part came probably when I started Autism Rocks and Rolls at the same time, and I just embraced it organically with more episodes and as time went on. But the 16 was more for my personal brain.
Yeah.
The 17 and beyond was for personal, but it was still for professional as well.
Yeah. And tell us all about the podcast. That's really interesting. Tell us all about that. How did you come up with that? And what,
Well,
what
the
happened?
podcast is called Autism Rocks and Rolls. It's a podcast about autism and how you cope with daily struggles that you may or may not understand. Through the podcast, it's grown so much. I've had lots of guests, as you mentioned, from family to professional wrestlers to American Idol, America's Got Talent contestants to a Britain's Got Talent contestant. I've also got the privilege to host a nonprofit with events, board of six, and speaking engagements.
That's pretty good going. How many episodes do you do a week?
I do every 13 days,
Do
so two
13
or three a
days.
month.
Yeah. And how long's that been running for? 2023.
Yeah. The podcast has been on since 20, what do you think here? October 2019.
But no, so it's been going a long time there as well.
Yep.
Yeah. What sort of followers do you have then? Are they people that got autism themselves, or is it just a general sort of following?
There's some that are on the autism spectrum, but there's also some who want to learn about it. There's some who are special education teachers. There's some who just ran into it once upon a time and loved my content.
Yeah, no, that's great. And when you say with the conversations you have people on there, what would be like a general sort of conversation that you have?
I would definitely have to bring up their disability or mental health condition because I try and make it as inclusive as possible. I try not to have only autism people on there. I've had people with alcoholism, OCD, Tourette's,
Yeah,
mind deaf. So I always try to hone in on what did they do to overcome their obstacle in life. In your words, I try and make it an adversity to strength podcast, but times 10.
sure. Yeah, yeah. And how much do you think you've learned listening to other people's stories? Because for me, I'm on this podcast, I've learned so much from so many people with their stories of what they've dealt with and overcome.
I've learned a lot through other people. It reminds me that there's other people in the same boat as you because when you go through hardships, I think we become selfish and forget there's others who are having a lot worse time than you are right now.
Yeah, and often
I
when
met
we
people
go,
who are in a wheelchair for crying out loud. They don't ever get out of it.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
So- yeah,
thank God they're living it. Thank God they have a happy life. But at first, I bet it was brutal.
yeah.
Worrying that they're
Oh,
not going
God,
to
yeah.
walk again.
Yeah, especially like with the podcast, because often when we go through something, we always think it's just us. You just do, even though you know it's not the case. So, did it give you more confidence when you heard other people with their struggles as well, and you could relate to what they've gone through?
Not much. It just reminded me to be kinder to myself
Yeah. And how did you get on
and to be
being kind?
grateful for what you have because there's a lot of worse people
Definitely.
who are going through worse, harder ships than you are.
Yeah, it's a really strong mindset that you've got. Is that a mindset you've had to work towards over the years to really build it up?
Oh, yeah. It was a mindset that I had to work in progress because at first it was just weak. Look at me. I'm a disappointment. Not anyone's going through what I'm going through. Anyone has a better life than I do. I'm the worst person below. I'm at the bottom of the food chain.
Really?
Now it's more like, oh boy, I'm actually doing pretty well than what others are doing.
Yeah.
And I'm proud that they're trying to get on a higher scale than what they already are on.
Yeah. So to get to that mindset, how did you go about changing that? What was the change to get from the negative mindset to the positive mindset?
Just to really see that what I have, others don't have. I have loving parents. I have a roof over my head. I have a mattress I get to sleep on.
Yeah. So it's like, obviously it's great having great parents there, but often it's just the simple things that are the most important to you, do you think?
Yep.
Yeah.
The simplest things in life is all we need to survive.
Yeah. With the podcast, what do like a lot of the people listening, what do they sort of say to you about the podcast? What do they get from the podcast? What do they
They
take
get
away
help
from it?
and they actually get validation because I've had people
Yeah,
who listen and they are nodding as they're listening because they finally feel like someone gets me or
yeah.
they've been in my shoes. I'm not the only one who's been excluded.
Yeah, and I can imagine that makes a difference when somebody can hear a story where they can relate to it and they feel again that it's not just them, makes a massive difference there as well. So that sounds like it's made a big difference to people there as well. And you never know, somebody listening in, it could change their life. Hearing a story, hearing your story.
Right. I think it has helped people. I mean, hearing my story, I've heard people say your son gives me hope. I've had people who wanted me on their show from India, and I think, wow, it's hitting pretty big if it's going outside the United States. And I spoke in Canada. I mean, it's crazy sometimes, man. Went from 70 downloads to 23.3K with speaking engagements. I get to travel outside of the country. If you would have told me 5 years ago I would have gone to Canada, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah, yeah, that's brilliant. That's phenomenal growth. It's so important though because obviously people are more aware of autism now. A lot of people don't understand what it is, and a lot of people are still trying to search to find where they can understand things, relate to it. So if they're coming to your podcast, I'm not surprised it's growing as well it is and is as successful as it's become.
Right. Or they get misinformed.
Yeah, what's the misinformed? What tends to be misinformed?
Well, I'm not going into too much, but some of our political systems has been feeding inaccurate information. I would also say that some people are scared because we're different. They're afraid we're going to get holes in their wall because of our anger issues
Yeah,
that we do have, and I do have, and I won't lie there.
sure.
They're afraid of what it is. They're afraid of the unordinary.
Yeah, as always,
And I'd
as
also say
always.
they're afraid of what resources we need, if it's unreasonable or reasonable, if is it accessible to provide, or is it
Yeah.
an excuse?
Yeah, of course, they're your standard ones. What would you sort of say to that then? What sort of resources would I know autism's on like a scale, but what sort of resources would somebody with autism tend to need?
Well, there's a lot out there. It's a broad question, but a
Sure.
lot of people with autism need transition programs when they become adults because they're transitioning from high school to the real world
Yeah,
because they got to go get a job, which is partially a problem because 85% of people on the spectrum are unemployed because the boss doesn't want
really.
to hire them.
85%.
Yeah, and I'm one of them.
Right. But you're doing your own thing though. Yeah.
Part time. I wish it was more full time, but it is part time, unfortunately, because it's not
Yeah.
enough to pay the bills. But boy, would
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love a full time job at a radio station.
Yeah. I think you'd be pretty good at it. You got a lot of experience doing that.
Yeah, I
But
did an internship at 105.5 in Bedford, Indiana, and the most pleasant experience about it was they were actually kind of scared because they did not know anything about autism.
do you think coming out of that experience that they had a different understanding of autism after spending time with you?
Yes, they did. One instance of that was we did this thing called Live on the Air or Lunch Live, Summer Lunch Rush. There's what it was called, Summer Lunch Rush. And one of the restaurants we stopped at, my mother came, and the boss was there. And the boss has a soft side to her. She's definitely a stern one, but she has a soft side. One of the nicest ladies you'll ever meet. She hugs my mother and says, "He's teaching us a lot here."
That's great. How'd that make you feel?
And
Hear
I'm doing
that?
my job with Autism Rocks and Rolls.
Yeah, yeah. And what did your like mum say? She must be really proud of what you're doing.
Oh, she's very proud of me. I would bring her on, but unfortunately, she's teaching right now.
Okay. Is she still at the same school that you
Yep,
you were
always
at? Yeah.
taught. Been there, still going. I
Yeah.
actually had the privilege of having her as a teacher, but even then, she couldn't do a whole lot because the bullying was behind the back and more of exclusion. You can't send a kid to the office for excluding, although I wish you could. But I think we have a
Yeah.
line of
Yeah.
kids up in the office.
Yeah, of course. And what about now? To tend to have like more friends now that you're like an adult and you've moved on from school.
Yeah, what I've learned works for me better, and this is just a personal preference, is
Yeah,
virtual.
yeah,
I always like to have more virtual and try to talk virtual than in person. Although I will do in person still, believe me. I've done it before. I'm thinking about inviting my friend to a concert. That's going to happen in June of next year, so I'll still do it.
yeah,
But if I had a choice, I would definitely do virtual with new people
yeah. But why is that then? From an autistic point of view,
because in person the conversations are too fast. I need time to process what they said.
right? Okay. So
And the more you
yeah,
stare at a dead dog like this, the
Yeah.
more you sound rude.
And then
Whereas
you can,
virtual, you don't. You're just rude if you
yeah,
open the message and don't eventually respond.
yeah, yeah, I understand that. So do you find that it gives you a bit more confidence if it's virtual then? It's much easier to deal with.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
But I'm
What,
proud of
what,
myself for going to in-person events, conferences, social gatherings because I met several people who won't do it. I got a friend right
what-
now. He's scared to death to do it.
yeah. Would you find it sort of too overwhelming?
Yep, too overwhelming. Even when my friend who shall remain nameless went to college, when he was in person, I could tell this person felt overwhelming. But then I invited him to my mock speech while back there, and he actually came on to say hi virtually. It was a completely different kid.
Different. Yeah. Yeah. I get that with clients where they are a different person if they're online as opposed to face. They don't have the confidence face to face, but online they're just a totally different person. So I do understand that. What other chat would be some of the main challenges that somebody with autism would face?
Well, there's a lot we would face. There's our sensory issues.
Yeah.
Some of them don't like certain textures, tastes, smells, feelings. Some people don't like to be touched with autism. I'm the complete opposite. I think I got that from my mother. Anyway, mine in particular is a wet t-shirt because it hurts my skin.
Right.
If
Right.
it was
Yeah.
up to me, I would go into
Yeah.
public shirtless when it was raining, but I can't do that, and I don't plan on doing that. I was
And
raised better than that.
a lot of it's like can be food texture or like shower gels, that sort of thing. Is that right? That can have an effect?
Yeah, I'm one of those who would rather not wear shower gels,
Yeah.
but I'll shower.
Yeah, of course. And like with food, like is it right that people with autism might not like they want solid food, not something like minced food, things like that.
Some are like that. A lot of people on the spectrum like processed food more because of its consistency.
Yeah.
And then some on the spectrum actually like spicy food because of the heat it gives you in your mouth. I'm one of those. But then some on the spectrum hate spicy food. I just had a guest on, and the minute you put spicy food in his mouth, he's spitting it out because he hates that feeling.
When it comes to sort of the types of foods, is that it can be hot, it can be cold. Would somebody with like a level of autism have a variation on the foods they eat, or would they stick to the same type of food?
Same type of food. I'll give you
Same
a great
type of
example
food.
of that. When I was younger, I expanded my food horizons since then, believe me. But 2 or 3 years old, all I was eating, man, was hot dogs and mac and cheese. All I would eat.
Yeah. And what about nowadays?
Now I eat plenty of stuff. Still hot dogs and mac and cheese, but I've had salads. My favorite food now is chicken wings. I've eaten steak, burgers, potatoes, green beans, fingers and mash, shepherd's pie.
And with all of that, did you have to work towards being able to eat those foods, or just as you got older, it just become easy to eat them? You didn't have to like try it several times to get used to the texture or taste.
Well, I would say I didn't have to do much of the work. My parents probably did the ringleading on that one.
Yeah. And what age do you think you were when you started to be able to eat different foods?
I would say maybe 8 or 10,
8 or
8 to 10
10?
range. Maybe
Yeah.
7. I can't remember. It was probably from 6 to 10 years old is when I started thinking, okay, we can expand now.
And so with the podcast, what are you looking to do with it? What's your plans for this podcast? Because it
Grow
seems to
and
be doing
promote it to
well.
make it as big as I can, make it a full-time job, even make
Yeah.
it as big as the Goodwill.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you get the guests from there? What sort of guests that tend to come on? Do they contact you, or do you search
Me
out the guests?
contact them a lot. It's me who
Yeah.
contacts them a lot. But
Yeah.
then I've had some who have wanted to go on the show. Al Snow, we met at a local wrestling show in Bloomington. He graciously volunteered. But mainly
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
ask, and a lot of them are through Facebook Messenger. I do a lot of research on the publicists. Sometimes I will contact them through Instagram. Sometimes I'm trying to think of another way I've done it through wrestling conventions, like in person. That's how I like to mainly do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you find that's a lot of fun
Yeah,
seeking
I
out?
find it a
Yeah.
lot of fun. But then also I've had local advocates on as well. I just met them through a connection. Someone referred them to me.
Yeah.
We just got to know them personally. It's a different story each time.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what's so interesting, and it is a lot of fun. I mean, I've got a lot of people that want to come on the podcast, which is great. But also, I do like searching out and finding guests that might want to come on the podcast. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, and with like the people that come on the podcast, how do you find interviewing them? Just a lot of fun.
Oh, it's fun. You can learn a lot through them. I'm a lifelong learner, so always taking in
Yeah,
something new is a privilege. And something else that's fun is they each have their own story. I mean, one
yeah,
person may have gotten bullied at school and doesn't have autism, but has became a mental health advocate because of the bullying that happened to them. Another
yeah.
person was so confused in life, he didn't know what was going on until he was diagnosed with autism at 50 years old.
Yeah, you must hear this a lot. There's a lot of people that don't get diagnosed until later in life, so they
Oh, I feel
struggle for
so bad
so
for
many
them. I
years.
feel so
Yeah,
bad for them because I can imagine what it was like being me, so confused, and then not having an answer for 60 years. That'd be
yeah,
awful. I would probably, if that was me, I would get mad
yeah, yeah.
because I think my childhood didn't have to be that rough if I would have known why. I
Yeah,
mean, it was rough when I was a childhood, but knowing
yeah,
the
yeah,
reason, it gave me a sense of comfort. Not
yeah,
knowing
yeah,
make me think something's wrong with them.
yeah, yeah. Definitely. How old were you when you were first officially diagnosed with autism?
Or
Four.
Or,
Okay.
but I had classic textbook symptoms when I was younger. I wouldn't look at you. Even when you said my name, didn't look at the camera, was organizing toys instead of playing with them. Instead of smashing monster trucks, I'm organizing the colors.
Right. And what other sort of things that you do because of autism? Because you work in a different way. What would you say is different to like somebody that doesn't have autism?
Well, I can memorize music pretty well after hearing it the first few times.
Yeah, like the words in the songs or the actual
The
music.
beat, the tone, sometimes the lyrics. I have a hard time with that, but it's mainly figuring out what it is instrumentally. It comes to my head like that.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive going. That's
Yeah,
pretty good going.
yeah, then I also am a big pro wrestling geek, as you can imagine,
Yeah,
because I've had 11 wrestlers on my show. So
yeah,
I can memorize each WrestleMania main event, and there's 41 WrestleManias, and I can tell you what happened during each main event. And the first WrestleMania happened in 1985, and it's still going in 2025 with 41. You give me a number, and I can tell you what happened exactly at that WrestleMania.
yeah.
And the
You
main event
must
has
have
to be
had
the
that
main event. Has to be the main event. I forgot to mention that.
a main event. Oh, actually, not that I know anything about wrestling, but what about 1990? Oh, hold on, is it 1992? Was that, yeah, 1992?
I gotta know what number it is.
Oh God, it would be seven then, wouldn't that? No,
I think
when did it start?
the
85?
first 85, so
Seven.
trying to think what year that was for you. That may have been
No,
it's 1990. Yeah,
92.
you're right. It is 1992 because the first one was WrestleMania 6, Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
That one was Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter. That was when Sergeant Slaughter turncoat pretty much happened as he went from being your GI Joe hero to an Iraqi in sympathy. And what happened was pretty much Slaughter was going on him. Hulk Hogan hulked up, did his, as I call it, cartoonish getting up, hit him with the big boot leg drop, and Hulk Hogan's your winner. And in that WrestleMania, because he was representing America, Hulk Hogan was wearing a American bandana and his
Yeah.
red and yellow.
That's pretty impressive going. And with that, do you just need to watch it once and that sticks?
Once.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh, it's crazy too. Sometimes I think, how is my brain doing this? Sometimes I freak
Yeah.
out by my own self.
Yeah. Yeah. It's phenomenal going to have that level of memory there as well. Whereas most people are having to keep reading or watching over and over, so it slowly gets into to be able to just do it once and then it's like memorized. It's just insane. It's really interesting. It's phenomenal. How did you feel having? I mean, I'm guessing some of the wrestlers that you've had on the podcast must be like heroes of yours, surely.
Yeah, I've had favorites on. I've had Mick Foley's one of my all-time favorites. He's still my favorite. And then one of my other favorites is Kane. I've had him on.
What's that like talking to your heroes?
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's probably a little starstruck, but
Yeah,
I think I've handled myself well while talking to him.
yeah. It shows you just how far you've come, especially with a podcast. You've got. I mean, you get your heroes on your podcast. That's pretty good going. That's
Yeah.
pretty. That's an
And some of our
achievement.
hilarious stories. I mean, Kane is the funniest one because I'm on a spectrum, I've always hated loud noises. So used to, not anymore, but I think it was back in 2012. Kane had a fire explosion, like not literally, but like a fire pyro would go up before, and it would happen when you didn't know it was coming, and
Yeah,
that made me mad one year because of the unexpectedness.
Yeah.
So the following time I went to a show, I kind of processed what was going to happen because I studied wrestling and it was scheduled for a match. What did I do instead of watching it? I hid in the bathroom because I did not want to hear that pyro.
Right.
And
And
now he's going on my computer screen.
that's brilliant.
And when I
And
was 8 years old, too, with
yeah,
Kane, because at the time I didn't know wrestling was scripted and the characters weren't real, they were actually people.
yeah,
I didn't have nightmares about Freddy Krueger. I had nightmares about Kane because I thought Kane was there was someone out there who was literally Kane,
yeah,
burning people up. I thought the devil's favorite demon really existed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'll get that. And with yourself, what are you like around sort of loud noises then? Is it something you really don't like, loud noises?
Younger me, yes. Older me, and now, no. Love it
No.
now. It's hilarious. I like
What's the
listening to rock and roll
change?
music. I'll
Yeah.
blast fireworks.
When did that change for you?
Probably when I started getting into rock and roll music.
Yeah, how old were you with that when you were doing
Uh,
that?
Probably eighth grade, I would say 14.
14. And what bands were you into then?
Bands, now it's expanded, but back then it was a lot of AC/DC and Nickelback. First
Yeah,
rock song I fell in love to was, oddly enough, titled Rockstar by Nickelback.
yeah, yeah. Good song. Good
Oh,
song.
yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting how with the autism that you still managed to like evolve and change. It's not like as a kid you didn't like loud noises and you're still not liking loud noise. That's changed for you. It's gone into the opposite direction. I wonder how that changes there. Is it just because you get more familiar with it? You listen to say like a type of music that might be loud, and you get used to it. You know, it's kind of okay. I don't know. How does that work?
Well, I think with a person with autism getting older, like anyone else, they're trying to figure out what they like and not what their
Yeah,
parents want them to like,
yeah,
and they get their own identity. So back then, I was trying to find my own identity, even though I was doing
yeah,
a really poorly job at it.
yeah,
But one of the things I did find was, oh, I used to hate this. Now this actually sounds really good.
yeah.
I still don't like songs though with high pitched frequencies. That still is like,
Right. Yeah.
oh, so there's a
Yeah.
song called September by Earth, Wind, and Fire, and it's body,
You-
that is so
I
annoying. I
know the
can't.
song.
You
Yeah.
know, they're singing like opera singers. It's like, shut up.
Yeah. Is it just because of literally how high it is there? Does it affect your
Yes.
ears? Yeah.
Yes. I need, if I'm going to hear that, I'm only hearing that when I have a 2 year old daughter, not when I'm hearing
Yeah.
that in my ear.
Yeah. And what other things would you say that somebody with like autism would really tend to not like?
Well, let's think here. Sometimes they don't like water. Now, me personally, I have a mixed relationship with water. I'm nitpicky when I'm in the water. With this on, no.
Hmm.
With swimming trunks on or butt naked, sure.
Sure.
When I'm showering, sure. When I'm bathing, sure. Will I wash my hair during the day? No. Will I wash
No.
it during the nighttime? Yes. Because with my hair, I don't know why this happens to be the case, for some reason, with my hair in the morning or afternoon, it takes for gosh darn ever to dry.
Yeah.
When it's nighttime, it's still wet, but it dries quicker.
Right.
And it dries before I go to bed. And with daytime, it does it for the whole afternoon. That's not right.
Yeah. That's it's interesting how a different time of day you're okay with it, and other times that you're not on that particular time.
Yeah. But then again, I have one of the weirdest bodies you'll ever meet. I really do, man. I have sleep apnea, and I had that since I was, let me think here, a junior in high school.
Yeah. Sleep apnea.
Yeah. My brain
God.
will breathe in the nighttime. That's why I have it.
Yeah. What about if there's a time that you're going to do something? Does it have to be right on that time? If you're somebody's going to pick you up in a car to take you somewhere and they're going to be arriving at 8:01 a.m., are you
Yeah, it's one of my
expecting
pet
them?
peeves. It's a pet
Yeah.
peeve of mine when you're late.
Yeah.
I'd rather you be early, as they say, the early bird gets the worm. I've always believed in that phrase.
Yeah.
As I gotten older, I'm not too nitpicky on it. If you're a minute late, it's like, okay, you know what? I don't expect you to be perfect. It happens. Even 2 minutes or 5 minutes late is fine. But after 15 minutes, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I think you put it that for most people. Where are you? So
Yeah. But really, for me in particular, it's after 5 minutes late. It drives me bananas.
yeah. I understand there as well. And what other things would you say that for somebody that for people that don't know a lot about autism, what would you say would be the important things for people to recognize or understand about somebody with autism?
Research the early intervention skills because that's so important for someone on the spectrum, early intervention. You think we might understand the concept of taking turns real quickly, but we don't. I had a hard time with that. Huh. There's a funny story with that. When I was younger, let's put it this way. My cousin was very stubborn,
Hmm?
but I was very bossy, very bossy. And because of that, we hated each other as kids.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do it. Of course, I'm like, don't do that. But now, as I gotten older, I've been better at that and still am better at that. But I had to learn that on my own. Part of me wishes I didn't have to learn that on my own. Part of me wishes I had more early intervention to learn, okay, you get 30 minutes, now he gets 30 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good. Yeah, it's good that you've been able to get to that point there as well.
And
And
another story I could
yeah,
think of, and something else I
yeah,
can tell you is those with spectrum like consistency. So with me being a video gamer back in the day, I got so used to being player one. And it's not
yeah,
because I was number one person, it's just that's what I got used to, player one. Well, hang out with friends, it somehow got determined I'm going to be player two
right,
through the biggest fit of lie because I was player two. Because in my brain, I didn't have the consistency of being player one.
right. So, how did you react when you're player two?
Meltdown, complete meltdown, threw a fit. I had to leave the house.
Yeah,
I go home. Pretty sure I was in trouble, but I think my parents were also at the same time understanding. So while I took
yeah,
the consequence, they also were explaining why this is why you were player two, son.
right. And how did you feel when they explained it to you?
Can't remember. I slept since then, bud.
Okay, that's good. And when the consistency's broken, you go from player one to player two, and you realise that you're going to be player two. Do you just get like some sort of like overwhelming feeling that you, I don't know what, struggle to sort of
Well, what
control
I
or
do
what
now, to
happens?
use that analogy, going back to it, when I
Yeah,
go from player one to player two, I'm going to try to get back on player one and not stop until I'm back on player one.
right. So you'll just keep on playing until you're back to player one.
Yep, pretty much.
So when you get back to player one, can you then stop the game, or do you then have to stay on and keep playing on player one?
It depends what it is. If the task is done, I can stop the game. But if the game is still going, yeah, I'm going to keep playing player one until I win the race. Let's put it that way.
Just keep on going. And in the end, everyone else will be like, do you know what? It's all yours. You can win. It's
Yeah,
gone
pretty
on too
much.
long.
Pretty much, yeah. I know it can
Yeah,
be annoying, but that's the only way I know how to get my point across. Because if I try to
yeah,
say it, I'm going to get pushed over.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I'll totally get that. That's really interesting there. And with yourself, with like being an advocate and obviously growing the podcast, what's the future looking like for yourself there, Sam? What have you got in place, or what do you want to do with all of this? Because it sounds like you're doing a great deal at the moment.
Well, I know that for the future, I'm starting a part-time job at my local radio station. I'll be a board operator for the high school basketball games, and hopefully, if I do well, go to college. But not go to college, but I do the college basketball games, men's and women's for the board operating. But for the future for this, man, I just want it to be a full-time job.
Sure.
Right now, I do make some money with it, but not enough to pay the bills. I mean, I still live in my parents' basement. Is that
Yeah.
fine? Yes. Would I rather get out here and have my own independence in my own place? Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then school too when you don't drive. It's not the fact that I don't want to drive. Believe me, I've tried. It's just a nightmare. It gives me crippling anxiety. I still get anxiety when we're on the interstate and there's a semi right beside me.
Right.
And I'm not in the driver's seat. I'm in the passenger seat.
Yeah. So anything like that just totally overwhelms you.
Oh yeah, it's brutal, man.
Yeah. I mean,
It's brain gymnastics,
yeah.
but it's unreasonable brain gymnastics. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the strength that you've got, I think, is amazing there, and the way that you deal with things is pretty amazing. I think with the podcast, it just sounds like it's just getting stronger and stronger. So hopefully, it keeps on growing, and you start getting some money for it there, and cover the bills for you. You know.
Right. I hope I can definitely get to cover the bills, but at least it's making something. And as they say, it's
Yeah.
something better than nothing.
Definitely, absolutely, absolutely. It's the same. It's the same with like my podcast. Like, oh, it's making money, great, but not going to pay the bills at the moment. But in the future, who knows? But
Right.
yeah,
And at
Sam.
least I have a
Yeah,
job. It's a
exactly.
part-time job,
Yeah,
enough for me to move
yeah,
out. But you know what? It's something. I met several
yeah,
people with autism who aren't employed. They're just wasting their life playing video games.
yeah.
as an adult, who wants to do that?
Yeah, yeah, and the fact that you're trying to maximize what you can do to the best of your abilities. Yeah, so
Yes, sir.
that's great. That's really fantastic, going, Sam. It's been brilliant talking with you. I've learnt so much. It is so impressive talking with you and finding out so much, and love what you're doing there. It's been brilliant having you on. I've loved every second of it. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, buddy.
Of course, thank you for letting me come on and chatter a little bit. Definitely gonna have to take some Advil. I've had dental work done on me yesterday, and that's another issue. I don't like my mouth touched. Oddly enough, I'll get into that real quickly. I have really bad sinuses, and
Yeah.
I hate having that issue because I can handle a sore throat. I can handle really bad ear infection. I can't do a runny nose or when my mouth is touched.
Yeah, yeah. I can't say I'm a fan of the dentist myself there. So at least you've been there and it's done there now, you know? So
Yeah, but you know what? My dentist is one of the nicest guys alive, and he's figured out his way with public relations, so he can do whatever he wants with my teeth. I trust him enough.
that's good. That's good to know. But thank you again.